Hello there, and welcome to Winning the Division, episode number 37, this NFL Draft special edition of round number one. I am Ryan Smith, your host of this podcast, co-hosting with also Benjamin Troupe, former NFL tight end, fan of those Dirty Birds there in Atlanta. Let's go through the first round, Ben. Picks that stuck out to you here. I'll just name them in order, and you just react kind of as you see fit. Tennessee Titans quarterback Cam Ward, number one overall from the University of Miami. Jacksonville gets in a trade with Cleveland. Travis Hunter from Colorado, the DB/wide receiver. And New York Giants go Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State at number 3. Will Campbell from the Patriots, LSU, offensive tackle, left tackle for Drake May. And then Cleveland Browns in that trade with Jacksonville, which I think Cleveland fleeced Jacksonville personally, got Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan, to round out the top 5.
I mean, obviously, I'm happy that my Titans got Cam Ward. Travis Hunter is going to be a game changer for Jacksonville. We'll see what Abdul Carter does. But Mason Graham, I mean, like you said, they was able to get him at 5 when they probably were going to. I didn't think that Cleveland felt comfortable taking him at 2. That's why they moved down to 5. So I think everybody got their guy. We're going to see how it pans out. But Mason Graham was highly sought after. And I know that was a guy that you thought would have possibly had dropped to number 8. But, I mean, obviously, Cleveland, like, look, we trade for number 2. We at least got to get our guy at number 5.
Yeah. Pick 6 through 10, the Las Vegas Raiders get Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, the first running back off the board. Armand Mimbu goes to Missouri, tackle at number 7 for the New York Jets on the right, playing the right side most likely. My Carolina Panthers, we'll talk more about them on Inside the Vault. Tedero McMillan, wide receiver from the University of Arizona, not Jalen Walker from Salisbury, North Carolina. He goes a little later. New Orleans Saints, Kelvin Banks Jr., left tackle from Texas. And Chicago Bears get Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan, not Tyler Warren, as the first tight end off the board.
Ashton Jeanty is going to make that Raiders offense click. Him and a guy like Brock Bowers, Geno Smith, Colston Loveland being the first tight end off the board. I mean, Caleb Williams, something we talked about. We're going to talk about, on the Inside the Vault. I mean, nothing screams. We want offensive weapons for my young quarterback and Caleb Williams more than getting you a tight end that's gonna be able to come his best friend down the seams. Colston Loveland out of Michigan, I think he was an incredible pickup by the Bears.
San Francisco 49ers go Mikael Williams, edge from Georgia. Jalen Walker was where I thought he would go there after my Panthers passed on him. They did not. Going to 12, Tyler Booker from Alabama. Guard goes to the Cowboys' third Tyler on that offensive line. Miami gets Kenneth Grant from Michigan, Mason Graham's teammate down in South Beach. The Colts take Tyler Warren in his fall at number 14 from Penn State. And then your Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds, Jalen Walker from Salisbury, North Carolina, goes and stays in the state of Georgia, goes to the Atlanta Falcons there in Flowery Branch.
Michael Williams goes before his teammate at number 11. I think that's going to be a nice pickup when you look at, Dre Kinlaw. You got to be able to replace that production. Tyler Warren, I think, is going to really, really help either, Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. We'll see. But listen, at 15, y'all got y'all guy. We got our guy, Jalen Walker at number 15 with them Dirty Birds. I was surprised, just like Mason Graham, I was surprised he was still there, and I'm more surprised that Michael Williams went over him. But I'm happy that Terry Fontenot, he got the message. He didn't trade Kyle Pitts, and we was able to get a pass rusher. Incredible by my Falcons.
Arizona Cardinals take Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. His teammate, Princely, we should see in the second round this evening. Cincinnati Bengals take Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, defensive lineman. Not the best one on that defensive line. That would be Shamar Turner, I think. He'll be in the second round, I think, tonight. Seattle Seahawks take Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, who can play all 5 positions, as Daniel Jeremiah referenced on the NFL Network broadcast. Tampa Bay takes Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State to get their Mike Evans replacement. Chris Godwin coming off the serious injury, and not good news for Jalen McMillan, their second-year receiver from Washington. And Denver takes Jahadi Barron from Texas, the corner, to round out the top 20.
Listen, Mr. Hendrickson, he's not going to like the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals go out there and get Shamar Stewart, a guy that we both like, coming out of A&M. But then I think when nobody's really talking about, and I get the Emeka Ibuka going to the Bucks, Jahadi Barron is going to be on the other side, of Patrick Surtain. So now, even though Patrick Surtain defensive rookie of the year, so you're going to have essentially 2 lockdown corners out there. Listen, if you in that AFC West, you're going to have to be able to cover these receivers in Kansas City with the Raiders and obviously with the Chargers. I think they got a steal and a guy in Jahadi Barron coming from Texas. I think he's going to be a real nice addition to that Denver Broncos secondary.
And going into the 20s, Pittsburgh Steelers do not take Shedeur Sanders. It's instead Derek Harmon from the University of Oregon. Chargers take Amarian Hampton from North Carolina, the second running back off the board. Green Bay Packers take Matthew Golden from Texas. What a gold moment there for the host city as Matthew Golden becomes the first receiver since Javon Walker, Javon in 2002 by the Green Bay Packers. What a moment there for the home team. And then the next pick, they boo, the crowd does, Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, the guard who played left tackle most of the year. After the Chiefs pick, which we'll discuss later, got injured. So Vikings take Donovan Jackson from Ohio State guard. And New York Giants trade back into the first round with the Houston Texans to take Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, completing the Manning circle along with Eli and Archie Manning to be first-round picks from the from University of Mississippi. And in that trade, the New York Giants trade with the Texans to pick number 34. So Texans will pick 34th in this draft first, which will be the second pick in tonight's second round.
Mike Tomlin, Derek Harmon better work out because you guys have a drastic need at the quarterback position. Everybody keeps saying who's going to throw to Kenny Pickett, who's going to throw DK Metcalf, who's going to throw to Pat Freiermuth. We'll see. Amarian Hampton going to the Chargers is a steal of a pick when you look at what they would. Justin Herbert, we know what he does in the passing game. He's going to need a solid rookie. I think he's going to be there. You mentioned Mr. Matt Goldman, the first receiver taken in the first round since Javon Walker. I had a chance to play with Javon Walker the time I was with the Raiders. It's all about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was slated. We saw some reports that said he wouldn't go lower than 8 to the Aints. I mean the Saints. And obviously Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, two guys are in the twilight of their careers, both who don't mind being mentors. I think Russ is probably going to win that starting spot. But Jackson Dart needs to sit behind somebody like Jackson Dart. There's nothing against Jackson Dart, but I just don't think that Ole Miss offense Smitty translate to what he's going to see in the National Football League. But they traded back in the first round to get him. I heard that Brian DeBoer and those guys got talking to a guy like Jackson Dart, that they was kind of apprehensive about him. Move back in the first round to get him. I mean, to get a quarterback, pick number 25, we'll see if it works out for the Giants because the last time they had a quarterback that had any influence with the man, his first name was Daniel, his last name was Jones, and now he's in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and then your Falcons go to pick 26 back into the first round. They take James Pierce Jr. from the University of Tennessee, their second defensive lineman, making edge rusher no longer a dire need. We'll discuss more on Inside the Vault in just a few minutes. But yeah, giving up next year's first 2026, the number 46 overall pick, the second rounder this year's draft. And then you get pick 101 in the third round for James Pierce Jr. I personally think that, again, we'll just stop on this pick since it's your Falcons here for a second. That Pierce better be hitting along with Jalen Walker if Terry Fontenot wants this to work. Because if they pick in the top 15 next year, I don't think he's going to be making that pick. If it's anywhere below the top 15, I don't think he'll be making that pick.
And that's something we talked about, right? It's once again, if you trade back, you get picks. If you trade up, you losing them. And I think for the Falcons, that's how dire need they have been for pass rush on the outside. And Grady Jarrett is now a Chicago Bear, so a staple for your D line is now gone. Now you're going to be dependent on rookies. But you're right. I mean, because I remember when the pick came in, you said, "Oh, I like that James Pierce." You know, "Oh God, look what they gave up." So it's what you give up for the player that you get. But hey man, Mr. Pierce. I mean, they're not gonna say it to you out loud. But when they shake your hand, when you get the flowery branch, they're gonna say, "Hey, young man, we gave up a lot for you." And the last time they gave up a lot for a player, his first name was Julio, last name was Jones. I think that worked out just fine. I'm not comparing Mr. Pierce to Julio Jones by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll see what happened with that pick.
Yeah, correct. And it's like Jackson Dart, with the Giants, Abdul Carter, he'll be the first person in that press conference, just like Jalen Walker will be. And then with James Pierce and with Jackson Dart, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you're the second guy that we drafted. We passed on you once, but hey, welcome. We also got you in the first round. Welcome.
That's how it goes. Having 2 first-round picks. I mean, and it's usually a quarterback and someone else, but the quarterback usually goes first, right? And the other position goes second. But obviously Abdul Carter, what he, to rush the passer, is almost as great as being a guy being rushed by the passer. But we'll see what happens. Whenever you get 2 picks in the first round, that means you investing a lot in 2 guys, which means you're gonna call on 2 guys. And at least with the Giants, you're talking about offense and defense. I still think Abdul Carter's set up to be successful because of what he has to do. Jackson Dart gonna have to learn the playbook, execute the playbook, and beat out 2 guys to even get some playing.
Let's round out the rest of the first round here. Malachi Starks goes to Georgia, the safety, born to be a Raven, in my opinion. Detroit gets Tyreek Williams from Ohio State, the defensive tackle. The Washington Commanders take Josh Connerly, the junior tackle from Oregon. Might play him at guard potentially. Maxwell Hairston, corner from Kentucky, goes to Buffalo. Good on him. I don't know if you saw this. He was just congratulating people all night in the green room. I mean, what a stud that guy is. Just not only does that look good, but it just reflects on your character and who he is as a person. Great pick there by Buffalo from a character standpoint. Philadelphia Eagles saw another Alabama/Georgia player fall, and they decided to take him in Jihad Campbell. So starting on the PUP list, most likely after that shoulder surgery, but still a stud nonetheless. The Philadelphia Eagles take him at 31. And the Kansas City Chiefs round out with Josh Simmons from Ohio State, offensive tackle, who was lost for the season in that injury. Another person who will probably be more closer to fully healthy because he tore his near the beginning of the season, his injury. So should be ready to go for the Chiefs, hopefully by training camp. But that rounds out the first round. Thoughts on those last picks?
Malachi Starks is going to walk from Athens, going to walk into Baltimore and understand why the Baltimore Ravens defense is known for what it's doing. I mean, what he does in the secondary is they're going to definitely put him in the scheme the way he can go out there and run around. I do agree with every word you just said about Maxwell Hairston. Sometimes you get, when people don't know who you are, you only get so many opportunities to kind of show who you are as a person. And I agree. What Maxwell was able to do to make sure he positioned his, where his family was sitting in the green room, the way to say, look, I'm going to congratulate every player that's going to walk by me, and that's what everybody's going to remember. But I will say this: Philadelphia is playing chess. Everybody's playing checkers. Howie Roseman sat back and said, "There is no way Jihad Campbell is still there," and he was. And I get it. Sometimes people get a little weary with the medicals, Smitty, but I mean, everybody hurt. Certain people's injuries are a little bit more apparent, but you got a top 15 type player at pick 31. And obviously, Kansas City going to do all they can to try to address the offensive line. It's not going to come from a rookie. They're going to have to do that more with camp casualties. But Eagles got better. Baltimore got better. And I think Buffalo just added, a young man to their secondary who one great character. And if you saw him at the combine, he was a blur. That's how fast he ran his 40. I think in the 4.25 range, 4.26 range. But all in all, this entire first round wasn't some players that I thought would go Smitty, but wasn't a lot of trades, as many trades I thought it would be. But all in all, it was suspenseful. Some shocking stuff, some alarming stuff sometimes. But I think everybody got their guy, even if you had to drive back up in the first round to get it.
Yep. Thoughts on round 2 tonight? Let's get a couple of predictions here as we go out the door. Shedeur Sanders, I think he's going to be taken by either Cleveland or Pittsburgh eventually. We'll see on him. I would love to see Jalen Miro go to someone like LA Rams to back up Matthew Stafford. I think Cleveland might take him early if they don't take Shedeur Sanders. Kyle McCord is a guy I think could go tonight, maybe to the Raiders, somebody like that. Outside, and then Tyler Shuck is another one that could be maybe the Saints, maybe the Rams, like I was saying for Stafford. So I think some of these quarterbacks are going to go off the board tonight, but a lot of defensive line, a lot of run on receivers, I think is going to happen tonight. Some of these running backs like Quinton Junkins, Jadavian Henderson are going to come off the board. Donovan Ezaraku and Princely, Musiama lead some of these edge rushers going to be coming off the board pretty early. So thoughts on round 2 and 3 tonight from an NFL perspective, and any predictions that you got?
The round 2 and 3 are going to be loaded. You mentioned Shedeur Sanders. I mean, Mike Green, a guy that was slated to go to the
Yep.
Yes, I mean, and a guy that I think is going to be kind of one of the more intriguing guys. I want to say is Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. I mean, everybody keep talking about his knee.
Chronic knee. Yep.
You talk about Jalen Miro, who I think is one of the more intriguing players in the draft. Look out for these receivers to come off the board and these running backs to come up. They're going to be coming off. Because remember, with all the draft analysts that we had on Smitty, the one position group that they said they expect to just go crazy with is the running backs. It's plenty out there. Travion Henderson. I mean, you talk about guys, and they had two guys coming from Ohio State. Obviously, I'm looking to see how many receivers come off. Trey Harris from Ole Miss, guys like that. I think it's gonna D-line, wide receivers, running backs. What is the DB name? I want to get his name right. The African kid from South Carolina, the freak.
Nick Imenwari.
The fact that he's still on the board. Now, I will say this: if he goes to the Chargers, Derwin James, that mean they might. That's who his comparison is. That mean they're paying you too much. But I think the second and third rounds is going to be just as epic because you got a lot of first round caliber talent that's about to come off the board in the second and the third. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, you build your draft in the latter rounds, and second and third rounds are still slated to be starters or at least get opportunities to start. It's going to be intriguing. And Shador, look, he's gonna find himself in a nice situation. But to those people who are making their entire existence about making sure that you kick this young man when he's down, get you a life, find you something to do. He didn't go first round. Well, guess what? Drew Brees went second round. Rob Gronkowski went second round. You can find a lot of quality players and picks in the second round. Bob Sanders, who out of Iowa, who got drafted in 2004 with me, ended up being the defensive player of the year that went to the Colts. Second rounder. So I'm Clinton Portis. Second rounder. You can get a lot of quality in the second round, no doubt. And third.
Well, enjoy the second and third round tonight. We will be back on Monday to recap the entire draft, rounds 2 through 7 as well, and get our thoughts on our winners, our losers, as Ben has his Dirty Birds flag ready to go. I don't know if we'll give draft grades. That's pretty hard to do, but we'll think of something on Monday show. We'll come back here on Monday. You'll catch us again. Then we'll recap rounds 2 through 7 and then the entire draft as a whole. For Ben Troupe, I'm Ryan Smith. This has been Winning the Division, episode 37, round 1 analysis of the 2025 NFL Draft, live from Green Bay. We'll see you next time here on Monday.